Take a seat. But not like that. How do you choose where to sit? Usually it's a matter of personal preference, but in anime it can be much more than that. A sitting arrangement can lay out characters for their introductions, can show a culture's values, or even suggest memories of a better time. It can also show what changes and what stays the same. Consider this establishing scene from the first episode of The Promised Neverland. Then it's parallel in Season 2, Episode 2. Even with very different circumstances, something essential is preserved. One particularly important use requires some cultural background. In Japan, sitting arrangements show relationships of seniority. The concept of offering up the best seat is universal, but Japanese etiquette includes sekijun. This dictates a specific sitting order in a variety of circumstances. In Shirobako, the well-defined hierarchy of the workplace seats characters according to this idea. I first noticed the importance of sitting order from this scene in episode 4. It seems like a perfectly normal meal at a restaurant. On one side is Kitano, an animator looked up to by Endo on the left, who has brought a younger animator named Hotta with him on the right. The weird thing is that when the shot is framed from the natural angle facing the table from the side, Endo appears behind this minor character, away from the camera. The critical moment is when Kitano tells Endo to be more open-minded about 3D. We see him feeling stubborn and embarrassed. But instead of letting us linger on his reaction, we cut to a full shot, where his face is almost completely covered up by the minor character blurting something out. The explanation is seating order. Kitano is the most senior, so he gets a side to himself. Endo and Hotta are from the same company, and Hotta, the junior, is seated closer to the entrance. Therefore, in order to respect seating order, Endo has to be away from the camera. There are a lot of these scenes in Shirobako. Here, we see an animation supervisor behind the assistant animation supervisor. On the other side, a production manager sits behind a key animator. There are also some large group shots where, in general, seating order is respected. In particular, note the central position of the director in the blue shirt. Even in informal settings. We are introduced to the main characters of Shirobako in high school, with 3 seniors and 2 a year younger than them. When they go out for dinner, even after graduation, we see 3 seniors sitting away from the entrance and the juniors towards it. When just 3 of them go out, the senior gets the privilege of sitting alone. This cultural habit runs deep, and it can show up all the time if you're looking for it. Shirobako incorporates this to reflect realistic workplace situations. But sitting order can do more than restate relationships we already know. In Summer Wars, it reinforces the storytelling. The movie takes place during a family reunion. Everyone is introduced when they sit for an evening meal. Special meaning is found at the ends of the table. At the far end and lowest seat, we have the main character, who is the audience insert, an outsider to the family. Opposite to him is the matriarch, the grandmother, and behind her a display of samurai heirlooms, reflecting the family's intense pride in their heritage. Next to the grandmother at the head of the table are the young children, suggesting that instead of the family only looking backwards, there's also tremendous importance placed on the next generation. Another dimension of this arrangement arises with the appearance of the black sheep of the family, Wabisuke. His first approach places him on a separate plane from the rest, and outside the light of the house entirely. Plot spoiler in the next 10 seconds, jump to the next chapter to skip it. After a number of dramatic events, we see the family in a new arrangement as they prepare for their final battle. The closer hurdle reflects their determination, and the new position of the protagonist establishes that he is now seen as an equal. Later in the same shot, Wabisuke joins, perhaps notably at the head of the table. Their sitting position shows that a stranger has become part of the family, and the prodigal son is not just reconciled, but has become a leader. Finally, breaking sitting order can be part of the story as well. Run Like the Wind features a hastily assembled college running team. In sports teams, seniority relationships are often very important. However, the group we follow does not have such a structure. We see this in their interactions, but also in the fact that there's no set seating order at meals and other meetings. The twins tend to sit together, and Haiji takes one end as the leader who often has to address everybody. Besides this, the other characters move around without a pattern, reinforcing the feeling that they're a close group of friends made equal by a shared goal. I think this is deliberate because it provides contrast for a key theme. Kakeru, the focus character, is a talented athlete, but he fell out with running after his high school team was led oppressively by a coach who cared only about results. In episode 7, we see the team come face to face with people from 2 other schools. One is Kakeru's rival and the show's antagonist. The other first year takes a break from menial tasks relegated to him to taunt Kakeru, suggesting that a strict order does not necessarily produce discipline or respect. We then see another even more clearly hierarchical school, falling in line behind their 4th-year star athlete. This school is presented as orderly and dignified. Whether the atmosphere is laid back or rigorous, encouragement and positive leadership are made out to be essential. Rarely does something appear on screen by accident. If you're watching closely, meaning can be conveyed in the most easily overlooked detail. Sometimes these details only become visible when they're pointed out. In anime, pay attention to where characters sit. It can mean a lot more than just personal preference. Thank you.